The following editorial does not reflect Cardinal Radio as an organization. In my lifetime, I have witnessed the Oklahoma City bombings, the Columbine shootings, 9/11, the Aurora Theater shootings, and the Newtown shootings, just to name a few. In my parents' lifetime, on top of those tragedies, they have witnessed the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Kent State Massacre. Tragedy in America is always imminent. The recent Boston Marathon bombings have sadly reminded us of that fact. Once one wound heals in America, another one is seamlessly created. I remember the Newtown shootings happened, and a friend of mine took to Facebook and posted a status saying that now was not the time to politicize the shootings. Seconds later, he promptly changed his Facebook cover photo to a character from the movie to Django Unchained, and that character was wielding two smoking guns after shooting someone. That is what this tragedy in Boston does not need right now, and that is empty internet activism. We now live in a day and age where people take to their keyboards instead of the streets. Instead of going to the Red Cross and saving 3 lives, people choose to save 140 characters on Twitter and just change their Facebook profile picture to whatever the cause of the week is. Then, there are the people who practice what they preach and go out in times of trouble and do good. There is now a popular quote circling around from the late Fred Rogers, more affectionately known to you and I as Mr. Rogers. He said, "When I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would always say to me, 'Look for the helpers.' You will always find people who are helping." The first responders, marathon runners, and people of Boston showed many children yesterday that there is good out there. Even in times of trouble, you will always find people who are helping. The marathon runners knew immediately that their finish was not at a checkered line, but instead was in a hospital so they could give blood and other necessary things to those affected from the bomb blasts. Recently signed New England Patriot receiver Danny Amendola is even going to donate $100 for every pass he catches this upcoming NFL season to Boston Marathon Relief Funds. He's even going to donate $200 for every drop pass. See? Good can come from bad. I know, of course, there will be the people who say things like this happen in Iraq and Sudan and other countries daily. While this is true, we need to avoid myself from sounding like an ethocentrist, but we need to focus on what's happening in our backyard. We cannot have a direct impact on Sudan, but we can sure as hell make a change in our country, and now is finally the time. One of the few Bible passages that has stuck with me over the years has been, "Do not judge the man with a splinter in his eye when you have a beam sticking out of yours." Now is finally a time to admit that we both have a splinter and a beam in our eye, and instead of saying who has what, we need to work together and fix it. Now is not a time for partisan debate. Now is not even a time for politics. Now is a time to show what America is capable of in times of trouble, sadly, once again. To show that child watching the news that there is good out there and people are helping. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. This tragedy has shown that as much darkness and hate that there still is out there, there is always light and love. The emergency responders and citizens of Boston came together in a time of need and drove out darkness yesterday. Sadly, the story is not over, though. The handful of people who perished and the hundreds of injured experienced this darkness firsthand, as did the parents, sisters, brothers, and friends who got that phone call that no one deserves to ever get. It is now on us and our fellow Americans to finally show this darkness light, and only our love can do that.